Hey friends, nice to see you. Welcome to my humble abode here in the Himalayas. Small room, meditation seat, bed, little bookshelf. You know, it's a real testament. It's a beauty to the benefit of these practices. It wasn't long ago that I had a big house in San Diego and a truck and a motorcycle and a trailer and a big BMW 650i M Series convertible with 400 horsepower and 9 or 12 pairs of cowboy boots, lots of clothes, you know, all kinds of stuff. And I really believed unconsciously, but I was really going for the conditioning that external things can make you happy. And now with these years of practice, of really cultivating the connection with myself, getting connected with that love, with that inner fulfillment and compassion and equanimity, then I feel very great here. I feel great. I feel better than I have in a long time. You know, beautiful nature, simple environment, few other people who have similar values, similar practices. It's great. So what I was doing there is a very classic Tibetan Buddhist practice, prostrations. Some people do every day, and then there's the practice that I'm doing where you do 111,111. Have a nice little tracker here. There's many different reasons, as there are, so many deep, subtle reasons for all of these things. From the physical, opening up the energy channels and the blockages in the body I feel in my wrists, my knees, and my Achilles, parts of the body, opening up, getting more energy. But then from a mental humility, prostrating myself in front of the whole world, offering myself in front of the whole world, not that I'm above, but I'm down here to serve. The mantra that I was saying is similar. It's about respect and love and appreciation for those who have gone before and supporters. Like this, speaking purification of the body, speech and mind, as you see in the Eastern and most traditional cultures, they consider the mind to be here. Even these are thousands of years old and very advanced. So, before I get into all that, I've discovered the very easy way of using iMovie with an iPhone to splice together videos. Awesome. But when I do that, like right now I can see my hand on the screen, but I bet you can't because it seems iPhone movie makes it into this box, makes it square for some reason. So I'm wondering, is there any way to adjust the iMovie? I don't see it. Or is there any app for the iPhone that I can splice different videos but retain the original formatting? Thank you. See you soon. Hello friends, namaste, namaste, long time no see. Coming to you from the Everest region of Nepal, Mount Everest region. So I'm just one day in to several days of, I don't even call this trekking. It's like it's a nice path. I'm going to, I've been in Kathmandu area, staying at a guest house of a monastery of one of my teachers for the last, I've been in Kathmandu area for like 6 weeks or something. Before that I was in Tibet, and before that was a 7-week dark retreat, which was around the last time that I recorded. So I'm heading into a more secluded, small hermitage in the nature, stay there for a few months, again offline, as I have mostly been, and just practice, and really ready to be in the nature. Kathmandu is a quite nice city in many ways, but I'm ready for the nature. But before I do that, I wanted to put out this really awesome, exciting opportunity. Last year, when I came out of dark retreat last year, if we remember, Ugandan friend of mine that I had met on the flight from South Africa to Uganda back in 2021, we had kept in touch and done different things. And he shared with me that he had been diagnosed with a cystic brain lesion. So a lesion in his brain. He was basically bedridden, lots of pain and discomfort, swelling, unable to think, and things like that. He'd been told that the only option was brain surgery. And this was just after I had gotten out of this long dark retreat at a special Ayurvedic center, and then I had connected with Sasya Sanjivini, this Ayurvedic center that I stayed at most recently for the 7-week dark retreat, where I sent out the email about how I've seen multiple people with Parkinson's disease being treated incredibly, amazingly there. People with psoriasis, people with viral infections, people with partial paralysis for years, people with all kinds of issues that they are told in the allopathic world are incurable. And I've seen firsthand people with severe joint issues, rheumatoid arthritis. A friend of mine has rheumatoid arthritis, an Indian friend, for many years, no success with any allopathic treatments all over, including in Australia where he was living for 15 years. Then he connected with this center that's very special because they have over 600 different medicinal plants that they grow right there. He's the fourth generation Ayurvedic doctor passed down from his great-grandfather, who was a very highly evolved man recognized by the Indian government back then and many other rishis and great sages, and then his grandfather, and then his father, and then him, who attended both allopathic medical school, medical university, and Ayurvedic medical university, was only an allopathic doctor for like the first 3 or 4 years of his career, super successful, the most successful in the area. And then he came across some things that he wasn't able to handle with allopathy, and he wasn't happy with the results he had been getting. So he moved into the Ayurvedic, which he had the background with as well. And subsequently now he uses both, but it's mostly Ayurvedic, mostly with the herbs and medicines that they make fresh right there. So the efficacy is so much stronger than medicines that are either man-made, and so they're not actually organic materials, they are inorganic that in some way are toxic to the body, or other Ayurvedic or Chinese medicine which are very beneficial, but if they're pre-made, they've been sitting for a long time, they're not as beneficial. So anyway, that is a very incredible place named Sasya Sanjivini. So I helped my Ugandan friend raise some money with your assistance, and we flew him to India. He was scheduled to have like a 14 or 16-day treatment, which includes all kinds of different treatments, not just taking some medicine. But he had a family emergency about 8 days in, so he had to leave. And even with that, they gave him some fresh-made medicines, but he was cured by then. He had none of this ailments, and he has had none since. It's been over a year now. And I check up with him, hey, how's it going? He got married, he's doing business, he's very good. So that's one person that y'all assisted me in. We worked together in assisting someone to heal and raise some money. Also last year, y'all assisted me in raising money for the father of a Bangladeshi monk friend of mine, a Buddhist monk that I know. He's from Bangladesh, but I met him in India back in 2021 at the first ever Vipassana meditation retreat. I was practicing Vipassana back then. Currently I've practiced TWIM, but back then I was practicing Vipassana. We met, we've stayed in contact. He shared with me last year that his father had this very serious flesh-eating bacteria. If you received the emails from me or checked on Facebook, you saw the photos, super gnarly. We were able to raise money to assist him in the medical treatment that he got there in Bangladesh, where they were able to save, the doctors were wanting to amputate his leg. The family said, no, we don't want that. They were able to save his leg. He's now back functioning, and they didn't have to go in debt because of the money that we were able to raise with that. So thank y'all. Now I'm coming with two more very interesting and auspicious, is right after another dark retreat, how that magically happens, but two really awesome opportunities and possibilities. How do you like the hair here? So one is my friend Ollia. She's a Serbian woman, but she's been living in Greece for many years. We met also back in 2021, not long after I met William, the Ugandan friend.
But we met in Montenegro, where we both attended a medical dry fasting retreat with the very well-known, very well-respected Dr. Filanov, Russian doctor who's a master of using dry fasting for medical treatments of all sorts of, again, incurable issues. So Ollia began experiencing Lyme disease. I don't remember exactly when, but she wrote it up in the GoFundMe that I will post the link to a long time ago. Ultimately, I think in 2020, she became relegated to a wheelchair. So I met her in 2021. She attended the dry fasting retreat with me. She's done other dry fasting. She's experienced benefit from dry fasting for a period of time, but it seems like there are some deeper causes that it's the dry fasting and the many other treatments that she has tried, because if you know anyone with Lyme disease, you know that Western allopathy does not even consider it a disease, basically. They say it's all kinds of other things. There's no treatments for it. I'm on multiple Facebook groups because I know multiple people with Lyme disease, including another friend who had Lyme disease similar to Ollia's, and she's now 100% through dry fasting. She's now 100%. She lives in Maine, USA. I know her personally. I know of others. So I'm on multiple Facebook Lyme disease groups, and these people are at their wits' end because allopathy offers them nothing. And it's a super challenging issue. So Ollia has been like that, single mother after a challenging divorce some years ago, and now she had to leave her job. I think it was 5 years ago or something like that, because of the extreme fatigue and the discomfort, the pain. So the same Ayurvedic center, Sasya Sanjivini, that assisted William, they also have experience with Lyme disease. I set up a call with Ollia and one of the doctors, the wife of the doctor I mentioned, who's also a very skilled doctor. They are the two doctors there. And we had a phone call with her in India, and she said yes, she feels confident hearing Ollia's background and symptoms, that they can assist her. They recommend that she comes to India for 3 weeks. So Ollia has been living basically on like a partial pension that the government will give her since she had to leave work early for this health ailment. So this expenses will be around $2,600 for her to go and stay inpatient, receiving only organic, natural food that is grown right there at the center. This is how they do, this is real medical, okay? This isn't a hospital that's giving corn dogs and like, whatever that mass food producing company is that sells to all the hospitals and stuff. I forget the name, like some hamburgers and things, like total just not healthy food. This is not that. This is food that is grown right there with their wisdom and understanding about what's beneficial for the specific person with their ailments. So she'll stay for 3 weeks, receiving multiple treatments, receiving that food, also in a spiritual environment. She'll need to bring either one of her siblings or some friend. So they'll stay free, but they'll need to pay for food. So the treatment's about $2,600. The food is about $150. Then their 2 flights will be around $700-800 a piece, unless anyone would like to donate some airline miles so that we could purchase the flights like that. And then a couple $100 of travel there in India. So it's looking like around, if I remember correctly, $2,650. I'm pretty sure that, excuse me, $4,550. $2,600 is the treatment. So around $4,550. It's all laid out there in the GoFundMe. So that's one awesome opportunity to assist, because if it turns out that they are really able to assist her as they say they are confident, then we can also share this with the many people that we know who have Lyme disease, who have so far no treatment. So that's one really incredible opportunity. And the other incredible opportunity is a Russian friend of mine that I've known since 2020, who's been living in India, practicing meditation, living on like a partial rental income from Russia, $140 he's been living on per month for the last 4 years. Even in India, that's tight. Okay, $140. This is amazing. It's a true inspiration of someone who said, you know what, I'm going to go into the discomfort. I'm not going to have the comfort. I'm not going to have the nice things that I could have if I could work, if I would choose to work and dedicate to doing something that I don't really care about, but so I can buy stuff. And instead, I'm going to do this thing that I really feel drawn to, that I really feel is the way that I can benefit others by evolving and becoming this person of love and compassion, which is his focus, unity with others. I'm going to do that even though there's almost no money. There's no money in it, obviously, and I have almost no money. So he's been doing that, and now he has received certain empowerments from his teacher that will allow him to go into what he has been looking to go much deeper, which is a 3-year solitude, secluded retreat, which is something that is traditional and common in Tibetan Buddhist practices. But to do that, he would like to do that in Nepal, this beautiful country. To do that, he will need to put $3,000 into his bank account that gets frozen, and then he needs to jump through some hoops to basically stay in the country and do some jumping through hoops to get visas to allow him to stay for that 3 months or 3 years, so that he can have this unbroken focus using this system that has been around for 1,000+ years of people who, how they dedicate these years to this evolution of love and compassion. So that equals $9,000. $3,000 for the money that is locked in, $2,000 per year for visas for 3 years, $9,000. So he obviously doesn't have much money. He's living on $140. And so we are also putting this opportunity out to support someone, not just for their self, but as we see in this world, there's so much division going on, so much fighting, so many people trying to solve problems with violence and aggression and combativeness and division. And from my perspective and others in similar places, that doesn't work. When we look at the great beings that have been before, people like Gandhi, people like Mother Teresa, people like Nelson Mandela, people like the Buddha, people like Jesus Christ, these people shared very clearly that violence begets violence, love begets love, even in the most challenging situations. And so that's what my friend Yegor is really looking to do, to evolve into this. So we give him the opportunity to dedicate these years, which is an incredible, it's a sacrifice. I mean, he won't see his family. He obviously won't be dating or doing any of the things that we generally consider to be really important. He is dedicating that time to evolving as a person so that every person he meets since then will benefit in some way than if he were to just try and do it on the side, as so many of us try to do. So those are the two opportunities. I've asked them both to record some small snippets of videos so you see those people actually. I'll put those in the email that I send out, I'll put them on Facebook. I don't know if I'll figure out a way to clip them into this video. I think I have to download some apps, and one of the things that I'm doing this year is really limiting my phone use, and partly I have a lock on my phone that someone else has the code, so I'm not able to download apps because there are certain apps that can be distraction or unhealthy for me from the history. So I'm probably not going to go through the effort to get the phone unlocked, to download something, to click these videos together. So if you're on my Facebook, you can see them, or you can send me an email. The email is in the YouTube info, and then I'll send them. Either way, if you're interested, we really appreciate it. Not only will you be assisting these people, but you'll be assisting the world, because everyone that these people assist, interact with from now forward will be in some way benefited from you, and then they will be benefiting others. But honestly, one of the biggest, if not the biggest things, whenever we give, is the benefit that we do for ourselves. Because giving unconditionally, I mean, even we start, it's not unconditional. Let's face it, most of us aren't at the place of giving anything unconditionally. There's a little bit of attachment. That's natural. That's how we've been conditioned. But slowly, we dissolve that, and it becomes more and more loving. We reduce more and more our attachment in these stories about money is so important, or whatever, time, energy is so important, I have to hoard it. We actually start acknowledging we're going to die, all of us. All of this is going to go away. It's really not that important. I don't need to hoard it. There's no benefit. all of these people do impact me in some sort of way, and my energy impacts them. And so, hey, why don't I start actually co-creating the world that I say that I want to be in, instead of just feeling challenged or bothered or upset or angry or blaming. Love ya. Have fun. Much love.
Hello my friends, this is Yegor. I truly appreciate everyone's help you offer to make this 3-year retreat happen. I believe that separation is the illusion, and in reality we all part of the unity. So ultimately I try to undertake this retreat for the benefit of all beings. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ollia. I would like to thank you for your help and all your support for my journey to India. Stay well.
New era. I had forgotten about iMovie, which I had deleted long ago, but now I have stepped into a new era of technological advancement and I can combine movies. So, there you have it. Right now I'm in my little room / space, meditation bed, and it's seat and pad for prostrations. And this is beautiful nature here. So there we've shared, and I just wanted to say one more little piece. I hear from many people, and I have felt and said as well, I would love to help, but right now finances are challenging, low, and so I'm not able to support whomever. And that's understandable. There's certainly been a lot of challenges in these recent years with COVID, and then the way that big businesses and government responded to that with the printing of money and the subsequent inflation and the companies taking advantage of the situations, the war in Ukraine and other things to raise prices. So it's understandable, and I have been feeling, as others have been feeling for years, that times are probably going to get more challenging, especially financially, for us, most of us, more challenging before they get less challenging. There's from my feeling, probably, not guaranteed, but probably more challenges on the horizon. And so with that, a question that comes up is, it would be great if we were all millionaires, or we all had friends or family who were millionaires who really cared about us, and so they would help us whenever we had any sort of challenges. That would be nice. But most of us, that's never going to happen. And even if it were to, if we think about it, which would be preferable? If we had one friend who's a millionaire, or if we were a millionaire for some time, or if we lived in a community, in a society that believed in taking care of each other, and we all just do our little help, and we get back to this not so individualistic, not so separated society, but more where one comes together with others. I was in Tibet a few months ago, and I saw it there, and I see it in these other places. I'm sure it's here. Right now I'm staying at a small monastery, but there are small villages around these Himalayan valleys. And I'm sure I saw there in Tibet someone was having an issue, and so they were putting it out. They were sending it out on phone in different ways, and people were coming together, some giving money, some coming to help, and the community was gathering around this person who had an unexpected ailment. And we can do the same. So there's never any pressure, there's never any judgment. I don't keep track, no one keeps track of who gives and who doesn't or anything like that. I put these out as opportunities to help others. But if we think about it, even $1, even $5, $10, these make a real difference. And if we had a community, a group of friends and family, 100 people or something like that, everyone comes together, gives $5 or $10, that makes a real difference compared to if we just rely on hoping for a few people with a large amount of money to give, or just relying on ourselves, which is the classic way, you know? So I share that as one way, because not only does even just giving $5 help the other person, which is great, but it also really helps me. And this is something I can speak from personal experience, because for most of my life I really hoarded money. I came from a place of fear of poverty. I didn't want to have low income like I had when I was a child, and so I really held on to money. I never spent any of my savings, and I would give, but to like very targeted, very few, very little amount compared to how much I was actually earning and receiving. And over the last some years, I recognized how limiting that was, and how like much control that had on me. And so I began intentionally letting go of that, because there's 100% guarantee that all of us, every person that you know, will have some sort of up and down. Most everyone will have it with finances, and with all kinds of other things, with health, with relationships. They just come up and down. There's nothing in life that is permanent. And so there's a guarantee that whatever finances we have, at some point there will be some sort of situation where that changes. Most likely for most of us, that will go down for a bit, maybe come up, go down. But like we said, probably in these coming times, there's a good possibility it's going to go down for many of us in some sort of way. And so the way that we can protect ourselves from that self-created suffering that comes when I hold on to something that is going to go away at some point, but I hold on to it so hard, whether it's relationship or money or a house or status or health, hold on to it so hard, ignoring the fact that this will change at some point. Then when it does change, it brings with it a lot of self-created suffering, because I have not been acknowledging reality. And so one way to practice letting go and being okay, being fluid and equanimous, which was just how I am much more now. I'm much more comfortable now because I have been doing these practices of letting go. And here in this retreat, where I'll be for a few months, I'll be cultivating mostly the practices are around cultivating love and compassion and generosity for these reasons. So I share that with you as an opportunity to assist yourself. Much love. Namaste.